All right, man, peace. So, brothers, in light of and in the aftermath of the very explosive argument between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, Mr. Stephen A. Smith has decided that he's going to concoct his own hypothetical top 5 destinations that Kevin Durant should be considering going to after he officially declares for free agency at the end of this season. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Oh, yeah, it's time for Stephen's A-List. Max Kellerman, pay attention. This list is for you, the top 5 destinations for Kevin Durant.
Let me say this before he enters his top 5 picks. As we see here, he already has the Knicks at number 5. In my view, the only team that Kevin Durant should be considering going to is the one that he's already on, that being the Golden State Warriors. That's the team that provides him with the exposure, with the easy scoring, with the championships, and with the business opportunities. Now, unfortunately for KD, he still seems to believe that he can lead a team. He's probably getting a battery put into his back by his mother and his brother, and also his agent, most likely. And then, of course, we also have to consider the fact that he is a Nike asset. So Nike Incorporated, of course, is going to play a very heavy part in Kevin Durant deciding where he's going to go. But in my view, he should just stay with Golden State because Golden State affords him all the things that he needs. His scoring opportunities are so easy right now in Golden State because of the shooting and the system that he plays in. And I think that he's going to find that when he goes somewhere else that is more isolation oriented, especially if he plays with LeBron James, where they have very little ball movement, that he's going to be stuck in the same situation that he was in Oklahoma City. Now, LeBron James is just a 50% better version of Russell Westbrook. So, of course, KD is going to get better opportunities than he got with Westbrook. And one can also say that going to LA, he'd still be playing in the Golden State system because he'd be playing, hypothetically speaking, under Luke Walton, at least as of right now. But once again, the only team that he should be considering, in my view, is Golden State. He's not an alpha. He's never been an alpha. He never will be.
Next season, let's go to number 5. That's right, I said it.
The Knicks would be way too much pressure for him. I would like to see KD come to the Knicks and team up with Kyrie because I think that it would be very entertaining. But it will only be after ascertaining, in my view, at least how KD should be perceiving it, that Kyrie is already there. Because once again, KD is not an alpha, he's not a leader. And that New York Knicks media is going to break him down.
New York Knicks, don't laugh, don't laugh. Kristaps Porzingis, he comes back healthy before the season's over. Kevin Knox showed you a little something. They got some kid Trier, he can ball a little bit. We'll find out. Plus, Kevin Durant wants to be in a major market, for all we know. Definitely.
No, you're saying that because you know something, Stephen A. Smith. You just stated that Kevin Durant wants to be in a major market. So I'm going to assume that you're saying that because you know something. That means either LA or New York.
Reasonable that the New York Knicks could be a top 5 destination. Plus, I'm being a little bit emotional. We know I'm a native New Yorker. I'm rooting for them.
A little bit emotional. You're all the way emotional.
And I ain't apologizing for it. And damn it, neither should you, Mac. Let's go to number 4 on the list. The Philadelphia 76ers. Listen, Max Kellerman loves to...
That would actually be a pretty good fit for KD. Because Joel Embiid could take his ass back in the low post where he belongs and stop trying to face up people from 20 feet out. You would cover up for Ben Simmons' poor shooting. And Jimmy Butler, he could just do the dirty work.
To rave about Ben Simmons, I love to rave about Joel Embiid. You got Jimmy Butler there now. Excuse me, if somehow, some way, you can find a way to get a Kevin Durant.
But it would depend on the cap space that the 76ers have. I'm not quite sure what their cap space situation is.
It's something that's worth considering. I can't see it happening because you're committed to paying Jimmy Butler. Wink, wink, you know what I'm saying? But who knows? Who knows? Let's go to number 3 on the list. The Boston Celtics, Max Kellerman. This is obvious, okay? You got...
No. Not unless the Boston Celtics are able to trade a couple of their wings. They already have way too many wings on that team, in my view, as it is. So, no, they would not be a good fit for Kevin Durant.
You got Jason Tatum. You got Jaylen Brown. You got Kyrie Irving. He wants to stay if you'll have him. You know what that means. He wants a max deal. Otherwise, you don't want him that bad. Why might you not want him that bad, Max Kellerman? Because you're going to want somebody like Kevin Durant. By the way, who knows? Kevin Durant could be traded. He'd have to approve it. But nevertheless, it could happen. So you got to...
Why the hell would Kevin Durant want to be traded when he could just sign with a team I'm sure that somebody's going to say, well, the sign and trade would allow him to become a max player on a team that he would not have that same ability to do in regards to how much Golden State could pay him. I get all that, but the point of you being a free agent is you deciding where you're going to go and choosing it. I don't see Golden State being that willing to compensate another team unless it could be with the Clippers. I've already brought up the notion of Tobias Harris. I think that if the Golden State Warriors were to sign KD to the max and he say, well, I want to go to the LA Clippers, they could make that trade happen. And it could be something where they might be properly compensated.
Gotta pay attention to that. Let's go to number 2 on the list. The Golden State.
And then also remember, Jerry West is running the LA Clippers right now. Whoever it is who's running the Golden State Warriors, Bob Myers, I believe his name is. I'm sure he has a very good rapport, good relationship with Jerry West. Maybe they could work something out. This notion of not trading with teams in your own conference, to me, I think is antiquated, especially with the way that these players move around. If you can get something back for losing Kevin Durant, you should do so. As a matter of fact, the more that I think about it, the more likely I think that it is that Kevin Durant may consider approaching the Golden State Warriors with that sign and trade option. And he'll tell them, look, either we could do this or I'm just going to leave and you're going to get nothing. I respect what you've done for me over the last 3 years. I want to go to the Clippers or to the Lakers or to the Boston Celtics. And just so that you have a little bit of something while I'm leaving, let's do this sign and trade option.
State Warriors, where he's at. All of this noise, all of this hoopla, they're not on the same page. He's thinking about leaving. All of that might be true, but they're about to three-peat.
Well, Stephen A. Smith, you're the one who said that it is true. You said that all that you've heard is that Kevin Durant is out. So is it true or is it just might true? Is it just might be true?
Who knows what kind of money's coming his way through Silicon Valley? We know that Steph Curry is still in whatever.
And let me say this. If Kevin Durant leaves, I promise you, Steph Curry going to be rubbing his hands together like Birdman. He's going to say to himself, okay, it's time to lock and load. About to average 40 points a game next year.
Does he really want his own team? Does he really want the spotlight? Does he really want that paparazzi kind of atmosphere that the Golden State Warriors, at least to some degree, might have? We don't know he's there now. And don't rule out Joe Laker, Bob Myers, Steve Kerr, and those boys. They have a way of working things out. We'll look at that as number 2. Number 1 on the list, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Now, why would Stephen A. Smith put the LA Lakers as Kevin Durant's number 1 option or his number 1 destination unless he knows something?
Why would I say the Los Angeles Lakers?
Because you know something.
There's a guy by the name of Magic Johnson that's got about $38 million available in cap space. LeBron and the paparazzi kind of atmosphere match might be there, but guess what? Because LeBron's there and he would garner most of the attention, KD would be there just playing ball. He's already got a home in Los.
No, KD would not be there just playing ball, Stephen A. Smith. You know that. Let me say this. If KD signs with the Lakers, I hope that the Golden State Warriors are able to get Kawhi Leonard, because that shit is going to be so nauseating, and I could even see them getting KD and then trading for AD. Remember that Anthony Davis is signed to LeBron James's sports agency, Clutch Sports. So I could certainly see that happening. and if they have a team with LeBron James, KD, and AD, you can make the case that they would be the first team in NBA history that had arguably the top 3 players in the NBA on the same team. Arguably the top 3 players on the same team at the same time, relatively in their prime. Relatively. We know LeBron James is past his overall prime, but offensively, he's at the end of his prime offensively.
Los Angeles, the weather's beautiful. He likes it out there. Who knows? That would be my
kill
top
KD
5.
if he went to the Lakers.
Well, you know what?
You would sit here and kill him.
I have said that. I have said that. But I will say this. Would I be able to kill him if he left and Golden State got Anthony Davis?
Well, let's.
Why would you say that, Stephen A. Smith? But how would Golden State get Anthony Davis? They'd have to trade at the very least Draymond and Klay for Anthony Davis. That would cause a major upheaval in their lineup, in their roster.
Well, let's put it this way.
You saying, or Kawhi Leonard? Would I be able?
Kawhi Leonard, that's the guy. That's the guy that they have to have on their whiteboard right now. If you're Bob Myers and Steve Kerr, you have to be saying to yourself, you know what? When we play the Toronto Raptors, we have to make sure that we approach this young man and try to see if we can plant some seeds in his head.
I don't know if I would feel that
Let me go on your list.
invested if somebody else landed in Golden State.
I don't trust James Dolan. I would not go to the Knicks if I were KD.
Okay.
Although current management is much better than it's been in
Steve
years.
Mills, Scott Perry, yes.
Top to bottom, it's much better than it's been in years.
Right.
Yes, and they also have the new coach. So, I mean, once again, this is what I mean when I talk about Knicks fans. Max Kellerman basically just got on national TV and told Kevin Durant, don't come to the Knicks. Why would you do that? Knicks fans are mentally disturbed, man. They just love playing the violin for themselves.
Still, Dolan's the boss. I don't trust it. That's one. Two, if KD is sincere, if we sincerely believe KD wants his own team,
Yeah.
may I suggest the Los Angeles Clippers?
That's not a bad suggestion. As of right now, the Clippers are very competitive. They have a nice roster. Doc Rivers is their coach. I think that he's a bit overrated as a head coach, but that would be interesting if KD were to sign with the Clippers. I'm not sure what their overall salary cap situation looks like, but could they be able to sign a KD and a Kawhi Leonard?
What if you really want that competition?
I actually would love to see that much more than KD going to the Lakers.
Go to LA and duke it out with LeBron James head to head.
There's a problem.
For Los Angeles.
There's a problem. The problem with that is because if he were to go to the Clippers, that would clearly be the incentive and the motivation why. And that means every little thing that LeBron did, he'd be compared
But what
to
if
that.
But what?
Right, but Stephen A. Smith, you can't have it both ways. You can't lament how these modern-day basketball players don't want to compete, and then when a scenario is presented where it would be clear that a top-level basketball player wants to compete with the other one, now you're talking about how he should shy away from it because he would constantly be compared to LeBron James. Like, which one is it? Once again, this is why the New York Knicks can't have good things. That's why they can't bring in top-level free agents. Because these fans, these New York Knicks fans, they're mentally disturbed. Their outlook on the game is just totally skewed.
What if he
And
got
that
him?
would be the problem.
What if KD?
And it's no disrespect intended to you mentally healthy New York Knicks fans out there, but a good portion of Knicks fans are like this.
KD's Clippers were better than LeBron's Lakers. If you want to get them, go get them. And here's another one. Ready for this?
Yeah.
The San Antonio Spurs. It's not a
That's interesting, but that will never happen.
huge market. But if you want to go to... Okay, look. I say Kawhi at his best is
They actually will have a great lineup with DeRozan and Aldridge and Kevin Durant.
better than KD at his best. But I'm not arguing he's more talented. If Popovich could do that with Kawhi, what could Popovich do with KD?
One of the biggest reasons Kawhi left San Antonio is because he was clearly he was bored. I'm not knocking it. I like the river. I like the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
I like San Antonio.
How many times
But
can you go?
Knock it off, Stephen A. Smith. Nobody likes that bullshit.
Well,
Wait, time out, Stephen. I want KD to go to
He's
New
bored.
York, but how about D.C., where he's from? How
Well,
about going
a
home?
lot of
Why don't you take your ass home? Ain't you from Connecticut? Go find a sports station in Connecticut and go there.
people don't like to go home.
Yeah.
I mean, you get inundated with one request after another.
Just
They don't
saying.
want. I'm just saying, a lot of people
LeBron
don't want the
went home.
headache.
I would say yes to Washington had the
She said LeBron went home. Well, LeBron went home for business reasons. He had to re-ingratiate himself with that Midwest market and also set up the potentiality for him to own the Cleveland Cavaliers in the relatively near future.
had they not extended John Wall, had they not given Otto Porter the
Yeah.
deal, they had immovable contracts on
They
that
have that.
team
They can't
without
get-
enough talent.
Can I say one thing, though? I feel like the Lakers is the worst idea. Otherwise, just stay with the Warriors. The point is to have his own team, be his own guy, etc. How's he doing that if he joins LeBron?
Well, listen.
The same bandwagon type nonsense.
you could say it's
I agree with you, Molly Karen.
the same bandwagon type, but again, if you equal LeBron,
And that's my point. Like, if you're going to leave the Warriors, why go to another team where you're going to play the beta? One would think that if you're going to leave for better opportunities and to be the so-called leader. You're not a leader anyway. You're a beta. But if you want to continue to delude yourself into believing that you're an alpha, go somewhere where you can actually be the leader. That's not going to happen with LeBron James. So that would make no sense to me.
in championships by three-peating this year. You've got just as many championships, and then you're talking about that big stage with LeBron garnering even more attention than Steph Curry. So he'd have the freedom, but also the lifestyle that he likes during the season. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Yeah.
In other words, Stephen A. Smith, you know that Kevin Durant wants to go to the Lakers.
I'm not feeling that one. All right, we'll leave it there.
I'm not going to be upset at anybody going to LA.
Yeah, it feels very much like your personal
And I had a video about this a long time ago about KD going to LA.
agenda to have more reasons to go to LA. I'm going to be honest with you. That's how I feel in my heart of hearts.
You can feel any way you want. You're in touch.
With the Knicks.
Listen,
Turn it around.
we all know that Hollywood has feelings. And we all know that.
LaBreezy reaches.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see how things turn out for Mr. Kevin Durant in the offseason. So peace.